Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Appraisal Buzzcast. We appreciate all the great feedback we've been getting. Let us know in the comments what you've been thinking, and also email us at comments@appraisalbuzz.com. I'm Jim Morrison. Today we have Joan Trice, CEO and founder of Allterra Group, and we're talking with Kenon Chen, EVP of Corporate Strategy at Clear Capital. We'll be discussing current events in the housing industry and what's going on in the future. Joan, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Jim, and welcome, Kenon. It's really good to see you. And we're going to talk appraisals today, because what else do we talk about?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
So let's lead off with talking about the state of the housing market, because, we're watching the news every day, and certainly the stock market has been incredibly volatile. And so let's talk about what's going on in the real estate segment. What are you seeing?
It's been obviously a pretty incredible ride here over the past few months. I think the changes that happened in the market were faster than what anyone expected, with mortgage rates increasing. And one thing I get asked a lot is, are we in a housing bubble? What's going to happen? Are prices going to suddenly change direction in terms of home price appreciation? But it's just hard to ignore the lack of supply that's still on the market. We're just pulling data for this week, and just 3 weeks ago there was only 325,000 houses in the whole country available to purchase, and that was only 60% of what was available 2 years ago.
Well, that was my next question. What's the context of that? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's still incredibly, historically low. And there's been some good news over the past couple of weeks. More houses have come on the market, and we literally just got back to where we were last year at this time because of the number of houses. So that's good, because that means more houses now can hopefully be available to sell, which then gives us some opportunities when it comes to the appraisal industry.
Yeah, but don't you find, I've seen appraisers, I've been an appraiser myself for several decades, and I read social media, and what I find in these kinds of really tight markets, the stuff that actually comes online is the junk that you can only sell in an overheated market. I mean, don't we have some of that going on?
Yeah, well, we have a lack of everything, really. I mean,
there's never a lack of junk. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so certainly there's certain states, right, where I think it's slim pickings, as you're saying, but it's been encouraging, at least, that I think some people are trying to get, the ones that are thinking about selling are putting their home on the market now in anticipation of maybe the economy turning a bit, maybe there being a recession, or kind of seeing times ahead and wanting to take advantage of the hot market right now.
Right. Now, I would agree with that. That just seems to be rational thinking to me. So you're not anticipating a big bust, is what I'm hearing you say. Is that accurate?
Yeah, the lack of supply and still seems to be demand. I mean, last week purchase applications were down 1%, but we're seeing enough demand to keep prices rising. Perhaps we'll see a little bit of cooling with additional inventory on the market, but yeah, the fundamentals don't seem to point to a bust. But it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Of course, as soon as you put out a forecast, right, it's wrong. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I would never want to be a weatherman. You could say, yeah, it's sunny, and you look outside and it's raining. So hate to have that evidence just land on your head, for sure. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and when we come right back, we'll dive into the next question.
One of the easiest appraisal tools, the CUBICASA app, allows anyone, even a homeowner or agent with a smartphone, to generate an ANSI-aligned digital GLA with a 5-minute scan. Moreover, it comes with high-fidelity, detailed floor plan with interior walls, which are required for hybrid and desktop assignments. Appraisers love this app because they can also complete traditional appraisals for complex properties with ease. The best part is your first scan is free. Sign up today and get your free scan at CUBICASA.com.
All right, thank you, Jim. So Kenon, welcome back. And you'd mentioned earlier to me offline that you have a diversity and training initiative underway. Can you share with us what's going on there?
Certainly. Well, over the past couple of years, we've been, very, very active in really bringing new people into the profession. And, our goal is that would, as we encourage new participants in the appraisal profession, that it would be a diverse set of people. And we really believe that the diversity, creates not only just additional, capacity with new people, coming in from every background, but also it eliminates blind spots, and it sets up the profession better to serve the communities in which appraisals, are done. And so one of the groups that we've been partnering with has been the Appraiser Diversity Initiative, which is a joint effort between the Appraisal Institute, the Urban League, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. There's a number of additional sponsors on board now. And one of the things they do is they host local events to introduce the appraisal profession to people in local communities that are interested. We're actually doing one in June, on June 16th in Oakland, where we'll be we'll have some appraisers there on a panel talking about the profession, their experience, and encouraging folks to consider, getting on board. So excited about that. And there's a number of different other groups that we've been partnering with, like the Department of Defense. Actually, we are in a program called Skill Bridge, where we provide a path for veterans to make their transition back into civilian life. And one of those opportunities being becoming an appraiser, as well. And as we all know, the military has an incredible, diverse, set of people. And so, we're always looking for ways to do what we can now, even though it's a large problem or a large challenge, I would say, to tackle. Why not do it, with whatever's in front of us?
No, agree. You got to start somewhere. So we've let this issue go far too long. And has anybody actually, Kenon, to the best of your knowledge, has anybody done a study of actually what the capacity should be and how many new entrants we actually need to just get to equilibrium?
That's a great question. And I think those are actually two different things. One is what the capacity should be, or how flexible should the capacity be to handle the ups and downs of the market as we're seeing right now, right? Things obviously change very quickly. The one thing we do know is that, since 2013, there's been depending on who you talk to, but a 1% to 3% decline in the number of licensed appraisers, actively working. And so we've been in a state of less and less people in the profession, as opposed to increasing. And in that same period of time, from a lending perspective, lending has rapidly increased. So I know we're not headed the right direction. So we need to shift that, right? As to how much we need to shift it, I think just turning the ship right now is probably the most important priority.
No, you're right. Let's just head in the right direction for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another quick break and we'll be right back.
The Appraisal Institute offers a wide array of affiliations, from the candidate for designation and practicing affiliate statuses to designated membership and student affiliations. Whether you're a lawyer, banker, assessor, graduate student, or a certified appraiser, the Appraisal Institute is the premier global profession association among a myriad of professionals, either directly or indirectly connected with the appraisal industry. Become a member today and find out more at appraisalinstitute.org.
All right, thank you, Jim, and welcome back again, Kenon. Let's jump in and talk about some of the new policies and products and pilots coming out of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Can you bring us up to date on what some of the new is?
Well, there's a lot of new from both GSEs. And I think one of the best ways to explain it is this idea of moving from what has been more of a binary approach to appraisal from the GSEs, where either there's an appraisal waiver, where they're saying an appraisal is not needed for that loan, or there's a traditional approach to an appraisal, 1004 or other corresponding appraisal type based on the property. And where it's moving now is this idea of this risk-based spectrum of options. So in between what's been a waiver or traditional appraisal is now things like an inspection-based waiver, where the appraisal part is waived, but someone still goes and visits the property and collects some data. Desktop appraisals, as we know, went to policy in March. Hybrid appraisals, where someone's bringing the home to the appraiser at their desk, and then still, the traditional approach of an appraiser actually going and visiting the property themselves and completing the appraisal. So that's 5 options I just laid out there really quickly. And so, we see these kind of coming online more and more. Both the inspection-based waivers and the hybrids have been in pilot or in test and learn for the past couple of years. So there's been quite a bit of data collected on, do these things work? What is it like to do them as an appraiser? What's the impact to lenders, to borrowers? And so it seems like there's enough comfort now around that data that we're seeing the GSEs start to move forward and make more of these things policy. As an example, Freddie Mac announced that in July, they're going to be going live with what they call their ACE Plus property data report program. And they're actually going to be moving what was an appraisal waiver, where you didn't need an appraisal at all, to this idea of a property data collection or a property data report. And it's interesting to see that depending on what comes back, when someone visits the home, understands the condition, what's going on, that could need to get upgraded to an appraisal, but a hybrid appraisal is okay.
But who's making the risk decision? Is that coming out of Freddie Mac?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. They're not making the appraiser make the risk decision. Yeah. Which it would be silly.
Exactly. So yeah, they're setting the policy, they're implementing the systems that help lenders understand what's needed in what situation. But it requires a lot of different ways of thinking, right, about this. I mean, as a lender, it means changing your workflow, your systems, thinking about who you work with as your providers, right? First of all, who wants to do these, right? Who's raising their hand and saying, yeah.
Well, that was my next question. Yeah. Are lenders openly adopting this, or are they somewhat reticent? What are you seeing? Or a little bit of both, or?
A little bit of both. I mean, change is always difficult. I think we joke a lot in this industry about sort of the feast and famine approach, where everything's like super busy and no one has time to do anything new. And then when volume, decreases, perhaps people don't want to invest the money into change, right? So,
right.
But I sense that the things are shifting a bit. I think there was enough pain that lenders and honestly borrowers went through over the past couple of years in feeling like they were constrained capacity wise to be able to close loans on time, be able to get appraisals back, or find appraisers with enough capacity to meet the timelines, that now there's a willingness to invest in some of these changes. So it's a question of really lenders finding the right partners, the right sort of forward-looking both appraisers and appraisal companies that are willing to try these new approaches.
Excellent. Well, Kenon, thank you for joining us today. That was very, very enlightening. And I look forward to seeing you at Valuation Expo later this year.
Thanks so much for having me, Joan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Proxy Pics is the first of its kind on-demand system for getting location-specific media you need from wherever you are. Their simple-to-use platform creates an online marketplace matching people needing property photos with proxies or data collectors near the requested location. Through crowdsourcing, you can get your current up-to-date photos of anything on the map within hours, if not minutes. Never before has it been simpler or more economical to get the property photos you need. Sign up at proxypics.com or download the Proxy Pics app available on Google or Apple Play. Thank you, Joan and Kenon. That was a really interesting discussion. And thanks to our listeners for joining us today. And we also want to thank our sponsors for helping us put these together. If you have an idea for a future Buzzcast, reach out to us at comments@appraisalbuzz.com. Thanks and have a great day.